Good morning. Welcome to today's Daily Encouragement, the fifth one in a series of 5, looking at how coronavirus has been impacting upon some of our most basic human needs. And this morning we're going to be looking at the human need for purpose. If you look this up on Psychology Today's blog, it will say that the human need for purpose is one of the defining characteristics of being human. Human beings crave purpose and suffer serious psychological difficulties when they don't have it. Purpose is a fundamental component to a fulfilled life. That's what they say. It goes on to explain that if you don't have an external purpose, if you don't have something external that you are looking to or concentrating on, or a goal that is placed before you, boredom can start to set in, and you can start to concentrate too much on your inner monologue, on your own internal chatter, it says. And anxiety can set in, and that can also lead to a sense of depression. Now, as we've looked at the curve of dealing with the cycles of grief and the cycles of processing of trauma, many of us may be in this depressed state. We've gone through denial, we've gone through anger, and perhaps we're in a state of depression, hopefully moving then out into bargaining and acceptance. That's the curve on the cycles of dealing with grief. Now, just a caveat there, I'm not saying that if you are suffering with a medical condition that leads to anxiety and depression, that you just need to go out and find a hobby. I'm not belittling what you're going through at all, and you need to continue with all the medical advice that's been given with you, along with prayer, to see you through what you're dealing with, and hopefully praying that God will see you out of what you're dealing with right now. What does the Bible say about our purpose? Well, Romans 8 verse 28 says, "And we know that for those that love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose." Those who believe in God, those who follow God, those that seek after God, have been called, have been chosen according to God's purposes. Notice that, his purpose. We're not called to find and fulfill our own purpose. What is the goal that we should keep before us? What is the external thing that we should be looking ahead to? What is our end game? What is our hope in this time of trial? Hopefully it's not finding and fulfilling something that is of our own making. But instead we should look towards God's purpose for which he's called us. And we get a heavenly vision of the end game, of the end goal in Revelation 7. Revelation 7 verse 9. "After this I looked, and there was a vast multitude from every nation, tribe, people, and language, which no one could number, standing before the throne and before the Lamb. And they were clothed in white robes with palm branches in their hands, and they cried out in a loud voice, 'Salvation belongs to our God, who is seated on the throne, and to the Lamb.'" That is our hope that we should be looking forward to, being reunited with multitudes of Christ followers from every nation, tribe, and tongue. And Jesus launched his followers off on this mission with that goal in sight. He knew the end. So he didn't leave us alone as his followers to seek and pursue our own purposes in this world, but to discover his purpose. And what did Jesus say to his followers with that end goal in sight? Well, he gave them a great commission. Matthew 28 verse 18, "Jesus came near and said to them, 'All authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe everything I have commanded you. And remember, I am with you always, to the very end of the age.'" That's what Jesus said as he sent his disciples and as he sends us out into the world. You may feel like you lack purpose right now, that your purpose in life has somewhat been stripped away. I'm praying that God would align us all to his purposes in this time. I pray that some of us won't pick up the things that we found purpose and identity in. Instead, we'd pick up God's purposes. We'd discover the reason why he called us. We'd partner with God to help see this multitude in heaven as we partner with him to make disciples, to share our faith, to share the reason for the hope that we have in Jesus Christ, and to see many baptized. We had a prophetic word over us as a church before lockdown of seeing Southsea Seafront with a queue of people being baptized. I want to pray into that. I want to see that happen as we come out of this season, that many would come to know the hope of Jesus Christ and want to be baptized in his name. So let's lift our focus off those internal things that can cause boredom, anxiety, and depression. And instead, let's make a commitment to focus on the things above today and in this season, on God's purposes to bring many sons and daughters home to him. I hope you found that encouraging, and I look forward to seeing you again sometime soon. God bless.